Welcome CSC 230 W1 to our first hands-on exercise, ex1 lists and links, using our repel that we created in Replit. Now in the past we used Gorm, but we're going to do the same thing. We're going to make a home page here and we're going to have links to our exercises that we're working on. So we'll have one root home page and we'll click on a link up top where it has ex1 lists and links, and then it will go to a folder called ex1, and we're just going to have one page in there to start. So it'll be very vanilla. There'll be some H1s, a paragraph, a bullet list, some links. That's about it. It'll be similar to an intro exercise that we did in Intro to Computing. You'll have a header image up here at the top, and I'll supply that to you. You'll download it and then put it in your page. You could put it right into Replit. You'll have a paragraph with some dummy copy. You'll have a bullet list, and then you'll have links that you'll click on and they'll open up in a separate tab. And they'll go to another page like a Wikipedia kind of page. So that's all we're going to set up, is just kind of look at some basic HTML. And let's get started. Welcome to CSC 230 W1. I'm re-recording this for fall 2023. This is EX1. And it's lists and links, and we're going to work on HTML first, just real basic stuff. And it picks up where the last video, the create and share Replit account video, left off. Now, if you didn't watch the whole thing because you're like, I already have a Replit account, make sure you watch it because it shows you how to create your homepage for this course. So make sure that you create a repel that is called CSC 230 W1 - your initials. Mine has fall 23, and it'll have an index page that looks like this with a title. It'll have a headline, it'll have an H2 on it, and then we're going to put links that link to the exercise that we're going to work on right now. So this is your root homepage for your entire course. Well, we'll do things outside of there, but this is the main homepage, and then we're going to put exercise folders inside of here. So we're going to do that in this video. So let's review a couple things. Remember, when you want to open your page in a new tab, we go over to this button over here. So I'm going to open that up in a new tab, and this is all it says right now. Not too exciting. And I'll go back here and I'll move this over. And I don't really need to look at that very much anymore. But what we need to do now is we need to actually create a link to our home page. Now what you can do down here is just create a folder. So we're going to create a folder right here. And I'm just going to call it EX1. Now keep it lowercase. Don't put any capital letters. Don't put spaces, anything. Just EX1. That's all you're going to do. Hit return. Now we have a folder EX1. Now our home page is going to link to that. And we'll talk about that. But right now it doesn't. So there's no way to get to that unless we put /EX1 to see what's there. But we don't have anything in there. We just have a folder. But we're going to put an HTML page in there. We're eventually going to put a CSS page in there. We won't put any JavaScript in there. And we're going to link to it. So that's what we're going to be doing in this video pretty much. We'll get it set up. We're also going to put images in there. Well, one image. We're going to put a header image, so we'll make sure we get that in there. But first of all, let's make a new HTML page that's going to go inside of here. Now, not this one. This is our home page for our whole site, for our Replit. And actually, let me do this first. In case you didn't, I'm kind of doing this backwards, but let me go back here and I'm going to go back and I'll go back to my repel. So if you just came in here, remember to open up your repel, you're going to find it and say, okay, there's my repel, and yours would have your initial on it, and you're going to click on it and open it. And that's what it should do. And if this isn't open, if this page isn't open, you're going to do what I just did earlier. You're going to go here, click on that, and open that up, and then go back here and kind of move that over. So I wanted to do that first, but anyway, you can do that at any time. So that's what you're going to do when you come in here once you have your repel that you set up. So now we have an EX1 folder. And inside here, we're going to go and make another index page. Now you could have multiple index pages as long as they're not in the same directory. It'll be like the table of contents page for that particular folder. So we're going to go in here, and it says add a file, and we can click on add a file. And we're going to make an index file, index.html. That's the default home page for that particular directory. Make sure you spell it right, HTML. And it should have that little 5 on it, and then hit enter. And there's not anything here right now, but what we could do is we could use Emmet, and use an Emmet shortcut. We could use the exclamation point. Look at that. It's already showing what's going to be there. So exclamation point and then hit tab. And there it is. It does the kind of basic structure of the page. It puts your doc type. It puts your language. It puts your head element that has these 4 elements inside there, your character set, your UTF-8, which we'll talk about. It has this compatible IE edge in here, which we'll talk about. It has your viewport, your initial scale, which is more for responsive, and it also has your title. Now, we put a title on our other index. Remember, you could go over here to your other index, and it was called CSC 230 homepage in your name. For here, you're just going to put a title and just call it ex1. And you could put lists and links, because that's what's going to be in there. Now, if you put an ampersand in there, I think you can get away with an ampersand, but sometimes you'll see this, amp, and have a semicolon there, because that's a special character for an ampersand. You could do that as well. That'll just show up in your title when you see that page. And we have nothing on our page right now, so let's just put something on our page, just to see it, just to see our home page for ex1. So we're going to go here and just go inside body, and I'm going to hit return, and I'll type h1, and then I'll hit tab, because remember, that's a shortcut to write these tags, and it'll make an h1 element, and inside the h1 element I'll just put ex1 lists and links. Lists, I'll put the ampersand amp, and then it should come up and kind of auto code here, so you can click on that, lists and links. And make sure you have a space on either side of that, because this will just represent an ampersand. Now, that's just a headline that's going to be on that page. So that's the only thing on that page. Now, if you go to view that page, you're only going to see this home page. Now, how do you see ex1? Well, you have to go here and put a slash, because it's going into a new folder called ex1. So you have to go here and go into a new directory and hit enter. And there it is. That's the page we just did. So that's how we're going to get there. So this is the only thing on the page, and this is the only way we can get to it. And we're going to eventually just have a link that goes to here. But right now we had to type in manually that, because we don't have a link to get from our home page to here. So we will eventually do that, and that won't be hard to do, and we'll do that in this video. So again, this is our home page for all of our exercises. But when it's time to get to ex1, we're going to have a link to get to it, but we don't, so we do it manually. We just type in ex1, and if you put ex2, it's not going to do anything. If you put ex2, there is no ex2. You're like, oops, I thought it was ex2. If you put in ex1, it'll go to ex1, and that's all we have on ex1. And we're going to put in our header image and a bunch of lists, a couple lists, and a couple lists of links, just to kind of work with a couple different HTML elements. So we're going to go back to here, and again, remember, try not to get confused, because this is your index page inside of ex1. Well, actually, you'll see the path up here. It's showing ex1, and here it's just showing index. So it's kind of showing you a path up here. I think it used to show it up here as well. But anyway, those are our two index pages. So our root index page, and this is our ex1 page. And we only have a headline on here, and on this one we only have a headline and a subheadline. Now, what we can do is we can link to our ex1. Let's do that. Now, in our first video to create and share a Replit account, we put a paragraph here. Now, if you didn't do that or whatever, make sure you do this. You put an h1, then you put an h2. Now, this is our back to our root homepage. We're going to put a p, and just type p and hit tab. And inside here, we're going to put a link. And for a link, we're going to do a and then hit tab. And what it'll do is it'll put the anchor element, which is a, and then it'll put the ref attribute, the hyperlink reference attribute. That's what that is, hyperlink reference. Now, what is our hyperlink reference? Well, we're going to be referencing ex1. So we could put in slash ex1. You could usually get away without putting the slash, but we're going to put in ex1 in there. And you could put a slash after, but let's do that. Now it's telling me to put in that, and it should be fine either way. Let's just do slash ex1 and see how that works. That should take us, as long as we're in the same directory, that should point us to there. And we're not going to open it in a new tab or anything. It should just go to that link. Now, right now, what we have is we have a paragraph and we have a link, but there's nothing hyperlinked, because here's the opening. There's the opening A tag, and here's the closing. Now there's nothing to hyperlink. So if we went here and refreshed it, there's nothing there. You might even see it. There's nothing there. You have to click on something. So we have to hyperlink the text. We have no hyperlink text. We only have a hyperlink. So what are we going to hyperlink? Well, we'll just put ex1 again, lists and links, just so we know what exercise that is. And we can still do the ampersand amp semicolon, and I'll show you where to find that stuff in W3 Schools. And we'll put links. Now, because that text is in between the opening A tag and the closing A tag, we should have a hyperlink text in there. So let's refresh this. Oh, it's not showing up on here. It should be showing up on our main page, because this is our ex1. I'm sorry about that. Let me go back here. Here's our home page. There it is. So there's our home page for our site, and there's our link. Now when we click on this link, it will go to ex1. Okay? So this is our root home page that we're going to. So that's saying CSE 230W1. This is our root home page. Now we can go here, click on it, and it'll take us to that page. And this is the page which is our ex1, where we'll have the picture, we'll have lists, we'll have some links and things like that on there. So let's get our picture in here at least to get started for our at least part 1 of this video. So what we want to do is we want to get an image in here that we're going to put on our page. Not on this page. Remember, we're actually done with this page. So we're done with the root right now for this exercise. Everything else is going to go in here. That's why even I get confused going back and forth. So for now, we're going to work on ex1, because now we have a link from our root page is already linking to there. So now we can work on just our ex1 index page, and that'll be about fall stuff. And we'll probably take away this headline. We don't really need this headline on here right now. We're going to have a picture on there, just like we saw at the beginning of the video. So we need to get our picture in here. We need to have it so we can link to it. I'm not going to link to it online. We'll put it right in our folder. So where we could go and do that is we could go to My Warren and go to your CSE 230 class. Now, don't get confused if you're in CSE 235. You're going to 230. And you're going to go to Documents and Resources. And you should see it right here under Handouts. There's a JPEG right here. Now, when you click on it, it may open up in a new tab. Let's just click on it. There it is. Now, that's what you want. Now, you can just go here and download it. And how do you download it? You just do Save Image As, or Download Image As, depending what browser you're on. I'm on Chrome, so it'll say Save Image As. So I'm going to do Save Image As. And it's saving as ex1 fall header. That's what it should be. And you can just leave in your downloads for now. That way you'll know where to find it. It's in my downloads. I don't know if I have another version in my downloads, but that's where it is right now. So I'm just downloading it from my browser. So again, from My Warren, let me just cancel this a second. And let's close this up. From My Warren, you're going to fall header here. You can just click on it. I think you can also right click on here and do Save Link As. Let me see if that'll work. And that'll work too. So if you do Save Link As, or if you click on it, then it'll show you the image, and then you could save image as. So either way, but you want to download this file to your downloads, or wherever you want to download them. I'll save them there. It already exists. You want to replace it? Yeah, I'm going to replace it in my downloads. So it's in my downloads right now. Sometimes it'll put a 1 after it if you have multiple ones in there. So I downloaded it to my downloads. Okay, so I don't need this anymore. Let me close it up. And I don't need this anymore. So let's go back to Replit. Now, where is it? It's in my download. So I'm going to go to my Finder. Now in Windows, you would go to your File Explorer. And I just want to go find it. Let me close up anything. Let me look for downloads. I have a bunch of windows open here. Let me close these up. I'll go to Downloads. And there's the newest one that I just did. That's the one I just downloaded. I downloaded this ex1 fall header. What am I going to do with it? I'm going to drag it and put it right in ex1. Now, if you put it in the main folder, you can move it into your folder, but you want to put it right on ex1. You want it in that directory. It's part of this exercise, not our main directory. So put it in there. I'm getting a little blue outline around it, which is good. So I'll just put it in there, and it'll upload it to there. And if you click on it, you'll actually see the image. So it's in there. Sometimes we'll put images, especially if we have multiple images, in like an images folder or IMG folder or whatever, art. People have used all different files for that, but that's where it is right now. So I don't need this open in here. I just want it in here so we have access to put it in our page. And let's do this one last thing before we move on to part 2 of ex1 lists and links. Now let's make sure we're in index for our ex1. Again, not our root homepage. Just pointing that out. Our root homepage will just have a link to ex1. So we're going to go to the index in ex1. which is indented. You can see I'm in ex1, and I'm going to get rid of this headline. I don't need it. It was just there just as a holder, just to show me that that was this page. It was just a holder. That's all it is. But what I'm going to put in here is an image. So I'm going to put img and hit tab, because img is an image element in HTML, and I'm going to hit tab. And it'll already create a source attribute, which is basically what you'll see in the source is basically the file name and where it's located. So if it's in the same directory, which it is, because we're in this file, and this file is in the same directory, so we don't have to like put slashes or anything. All that you have to do is just put the file name. Now, they don't have a way that it'll just automatically put the file name in here, so you have to put ex1 and type it correctly. Actually, oh, it's coming up here. I don't think it did this in the past, but it's coming up right here, and you can click on it. That way you don't have to risk spelling it incorrectly. So just click on it, and there it is. And that's all you need in there. And you could put alt tag in here, so screen readers could sometimes read what that is. For anybody who's visually impaired or for other reasons of accessibility, you can just put header pick or something like that. You can put fall header pick. It doesn't have to be really formal, just fall header pick, just so it describes what that is. So we'll just put fall header pick, just so anybody knows if they have something that converts images into text or anything, it'll just read what that is. So that's just an alt tag right there. And note that an img element does not have a closing. There is no closing img. This is wrong. There's no, you don't have to put that. So even though I'm typing it, I'm going to put a big X over that. You don't need that. img tag is just a single tag like that, and it's going to put an image on our page, and it'll use the size that I have. So we can adjust the size with HTML and CSS. It would be more likely to use CSS to adjust the size, but we're just going to put it in our page right now. So let's see if that works. Now, if it doesn't work, it means you typed something wrong. Be careful. Remember, this is source. SRC is source, not SCR. When we start working with scripts, people get confused. They think it's SCR. It's SRC. But it should have put it in there for you. And that's why also you don't want to make file names with capital letters and with spaces and all kinds of things. You want to keep things all lowercase and keep it as simple as possible. So let's just see what happens. Let's see if this showed our picture on our page. And there it is. There's our header image. So that's all we need as far as this video. I'm going to stop here. But again, just to review, in our root HTML, we added a paragraph with a anchor and a hyperlink reference that is linking to ex1, which is actually, now you could do this. Let me just point this out. You could put /index.html. You could put that. You could say that let's go to the ex1 directory and let's go to the index page, but it'll default to index anyway, so it's kind of redundant. You don't have to put in index. But if it was going to a different page, you would have to put the page name in there, just like when we had to put ex1 when we were going to the home page to get there. So you can just do that. That seems to be working fine. And notice that the anchor element is inside the paragraph, and then there's text inside the opening and the closing anchor tag. And again, attributes in HTML have quotes. They have equal signs and quotes. And that's basically linking to here. So let me go back. So if you go back to your home page and you hit enter, there's your home page, and you're going to click here and it'll take you in the same tab to this page. This is ex1, and you can see there's your directory. You're going to your main repel, and then you're going to that folder. Now, it won't say index.html. It's already assumed that it's your default index page. So that's all you have to do for ex1. And then for ex2, we're going to just put some text on here, put some lists on here, just like the sample that we looked at the beginning of the video. So we're going to continue this in part 2 of ex1 listen links, just focusing on the HTML at this point and getting used to some basic HTML structure.